My Hero Academia.
MBH.
My Brian Academia.
Yes.
This is My Hero.
GC.
You guys are lucky that Boruto was so good this week. I mean, this month.
Don't worry, I got it for you, bro.
Certified
RGC for me.
Certified.
Josh.
Finally, it's been a while, huh?
I know. This is My Hero Academia, chapter 302, The Wrong Way to Put Out a Fire, part 2. Josh's RGC. It starts off not exactly where it left off with Toya attacking the family after having a mental breakdown, but we do see kind of the after effects as Endeavor's like sleeve is gone, presumably from having to fight off Toya for a second. And it starts off at night where he's, I guess, visiting his like wife's room because, Shoto's room, and he's just commanding his wife to be like, "Yo, I'm too busy at work to look after Shoto the entire time, so we're gonna keep him away from the other kids. There's gonna be some hired help, but don't keep your eyes off Toya." And his mom is just basically like, all he wants you to do is look at him and notice him. That's all. And Endeavor's just like so fucking dickish and stubborn. He's like, all I can show anyone is the world of heroes. And Ray looks at him as like, heroes? Aren't you just running away? Endeavor had nothing to say to that. Shut down.
Oh no.
You questioned the patriarchy. I didn't like that.
Yeah.
If she did more of that, maybe none of this would have happened, you know?
Good point.
No.
It's almost as if...
What?
I'm going to leave it at that.
No, you can say it.
It's almost as if Brian read the whole chapter.
We cut over to 5 years later, and everything's chill, seemingly. Fuyumi and Natsuo come in to Toya, who's just chilling on the computer playing Valorant.
Probably tac RPG game on.
His tac shooters.
Do this, do that. I'm gonna be there. Shoot there.
His hair is completely white now.
Yeah, for real. And they pull up into the room and they're like, "Yo, Toya, let's play." And we've seen this kind of scene before where Shoto is being taken away by his dad while he's watching his siblings play. And it's funny, a funny little parallel with this in One Piece. Sanji is the third son of his family, and so is Shoto. Cute little parallel there. I know it's not on purpose, probably, but it is what it is. Yeah, Endeavor, as Shoto is watching his siblings play, Endeavor just yanks him away by the arm, and is like, please let me play with my brothers and sister. Please. And Endeavor's like, no, it's time for you to train your output capacity, with his beard on fire at home.
Yeah, it's only his chin beard is fucking on fire.
His facial hair was growing. And it's like, bro, you're doing that shit yourself.
It's like it
decided, like, yeah, this is going to be my look for the next little while.
Yeah, it's like casually wearing a tie in your own house. It's like, why are you doing this? And we cut over to the night as Toya's just like talking mad shit about his pops and his family in general, where he's like, I mean, that one time was my fault, but Dad's to blame too. He won't pay attention to us. And isn't that crazy how, like, is this what modern heroes are about? They're just like making all these kids that they don't need. And, Natsuo being not like a head case is like, why are you talking about this with me? Can you talk about this with Fuyumi? And Toya loses his shit a little bit even more, where he's like, are you telling me to buzz off, Natsuo? I mean, like, I'm only talking to you because you're the only one here who gets it. You agree, right? The women in this house are nothing. And I'm like, damn, dude. Come on.
And like that's his that's his younger brother, man. He's little. You don't know what the
yeah,
fuck
he's 8 years old,
man. Yeah, he's just like, right?
I'm sleepy.
Okay.
Man, yeah. he's just like laying all this hard shit on his kid, like on his brother, like at 3 a.m. when he's trying to sleep. And the next day he's going off to the mountain. His mom tries to stop him, and she's trying to get to him a little bit, where he's like, as your mother, it looks like you're suffocating because of who your father is. And, you don't have to be a hero. There's so many things you can be. And that's when Toya is just like, what the hell do you know? And then he brought up her past, man. Like a
oh my god, this little asshole.
yeah, he basically is like,
I'm glad he's an emo jerk now.
Yeah, he's like,
Burns.
I know about grandma and grandpa, how they were fucking so poor that they had to sell you off to Endeavor. And I'm like,
sell your ass.
Yeah, rough, man. And
I mean, like,
you purchased your wife, my nigga.
Look, think about it. Like, this is like, even though Dobby does become a fucking villain and all this shit, this is still like, this is just tragic all around. Like he has his right to be upset, right? But he can't, like, of course he shouldn't be disrespectful, but this is essentially him, like, him knowing about this is him essentially realizing that he only existed to meet a certain requirement, and since he didn't meet that requirement, he has no reason to live,
For real. But man, we couldn't talk to mom like this.
Yeah, no, of course not. But like if you were born into a life where you essentially don't matter because you didn't reach a requirement, like, you would be going crazy too at this age,
Mm-hmm.
Like, think about it. No normal person would be okay with this life. Like, some people aren't built for it. Like, Natsuo turned out okay somehow, and so did the sister. I forgot her name, but
Fuyumi.
Not everybody is okay with that, especially when you're the oldest child, right?
Yeah, isn't Fuyumi the oldest one?
No, Dabi is the oldest.
Oh, okay, you're right.
Fuyumi was the second.
Okay, yeah, she's a year younger than he is. Okay.
But he had the like he said, he had the spark lit inside of him from a very young age, and then just to have him try to stomp it out,
Mm-hmm. No, I feel that. But yeah, he goes off to the mountain and is, doing his training. He reveals a little bit that his powers are linked to his emotional state at the time. So that could be why he can't control it as much. He has to be in a certain state of mind in order to even summon these flames. But yeah, it also explains that he was born small because he was basically a premature baby, but he had like a growth spurt, and along with those physical changes, his fire changed from red to blue, which is pretty intense.
You know what I just realized now that I'm thinking about it, like, now that you mentioned that, I didn't actually think about it, but essentially what this means is that he has to put himself into a really unstable mental place in order to summon these flames to this level, Yeah. And that again also reinforces the fact that Dabi was always fucked up and he was never a calm, cool, and collected character. Like, this guy always had to be fucking fucked up in the head in order to use his fire.
My bad. I don't mean to talk over you, bro.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
I'll tell you this, man. It's not like his fire can only go blue when he's going crazy or something like that. He has never used red fire at this point. You know what I'm saying? Since he was, I think they were just saying that he changed. You know what I'm saying? His fire changed from red to blue as he grew up. You know what I'm saying? As he grew up and got stronger. I think that's all.
No, I think he's saying what Brian's saying. Sorry, I didn't mean to talk over. I think what Brian's saying is that, like, because his fire is linked to his emotional state, but that, like, it proves that he was never calm and collected. But I don't think that I think that's vague wording where they're like, he doesn't have to be like upset, in order to use his ability. He doesn't have to be like in a negative space, because he's used his fire with a straight ass smile on his face and with pure excitement. So it's not that he has to be sad or angry in order to use them. Is that I guess he has to be in a heightened state of emotion no matter what that emotion is. And that's what makes his flame stronger. But it does come up to the fact of how he can like why it's so uncontrollable when he does use it is that it just like comes in a huge burst, and he has to moderate his own mood in a way, I guess. But
yeah, the stronger he has to use his flame, the more deranged he becomes. Like he every time he has to he uses a show of force or like an extreme amount of power, he's never calm. He's always in the most like spastic mode, like that's when he's truly like at his peak. That's why when he first encountered Endeavor, like the first time they quote unquote fought, he was going fucking nuts,
Yeah. I don't know. But in any case, onward with the chapter. His dad finds out that he's been like training again, and he starts yelling at him. It's just like, why? Who told you to fucking do? And Toya just continues to devolve deeper, and he's like, maybe, I can use this. My fire is getting stronger, and maybe I'll be as awesome as Shoto, and maybe I'll be even better than All Might. You'll be glad you created me. I just know it. And in the very next scene, he's like shrouded in darkness, yelling at his wife, while Shoto's in the room.
Yeah.
And Shoto's like a little boy at this point. He's just like crying. He's like, stop yelling at my mom. Just not understanding. Very sad. Fuyumi and Natsuo are in the other room, just like together, just covering their ears. And, it's a weird time to be them at this point because they're not even part of the conversation at all.
I just said, damn it, that's all I asked you to do.
I'm like, oof.
You couldn't do that one fucking thing.
Yeah.
He's an asshole.
Well, yeah, what a dick. And at that point, we get this, like, we cut back to the present where Rei and Endeavor are simultaneously recalling, like, Toya in the woods as, like, the big incident that killed him, like, to them, happened as the flames within him grew like bigger and bigger until he couldn't just control them anymore. And it turns out that all Endeavor ever taught him was how to turn up the heat, instead of like also teaching him how to like take it down a notch. So that causes him to just like burn up along with the rest of this forest, and the rest is history. At that point, Endeavor apparently felt that there was no turning back now, and that if, I guess he's connecting the fact that like if Shoto turns out to not be worthy of surpassing All Might, then all of it would have been for nothing. So he just poured all of his energy into Shoto. And the rest is history. This is when Rei starts to really lose her mind as well, and starts seeing Endeavor in Natsuo and in Todoroki. Or Shoto, as far as we know. And yeah, everybody else was just too scared to get involved. And Natsuo is like, maybe if I just like punched you in the face a few times and made you have a few serious talks with him, then Dabi would have never fucking came about. And we all would have been just enjoying Soba with Shoto all these years. So all of this to say is that the family also acknowledges that they also could have done more. And the entirety of the burden is not on Endeavor. But there is one shining light. One of their children, who suffered more than any of them, has been doing pretty well, and has, despite everything that has happened and every right that they have, has started calling her mom again. And he's been making friends at UA, and now he's been the one saving us. Shoto is our family hero. And with that, we see that little visage of the past with Todoroki and Midoriya, from the sports festival. And Shoto finally speaks. His throat is all fucked up from being burnt, and he's basically like, I talked with Mom, and I thought this couldn't be your battle to fight, that I was the only one who could do it, but I was wrong. Once you're done grieving, stand up, because we all have to go and stop Toya. And that's where the chapter ends, with Best Jeanist and Hawks outside, which I'm presuming they kind of arranged this whole thing to go down and convince the family to come together at this time.
It also looks like he's recording them too.
Oh, yeah, maybe. Wow. Yeah, I didn't even notice that. I just thought he was on his phone. But yeah.
Oh no, I think that's his phone that he has out to like talk, right? I don't think he's recording
him
though.
being a bitch ass nigga, so we could use it against him later.
Yeah, nobody will.
Josh, why'd you give this chapter an RGC out of all the other ones so far?
Because I felt like it was the culmination of what everything they was trying to say and what they were showing. I think there's still more pieces to the story that we need to find out, like from Davi's side, like what happened after. And then I'll tell you this: what this chapter did was leave me super interested, for what's next. Super, and My Hero Academia hadn't been doing that, for me so much, but it has been doing that more so for me now. And this chapter was that. I mean, last week I know I was cracking a lot of. I don't know if that was last week or the week before. I forget sometimes, man. But I remember cracking a lot of jokes, but towards the end, I made a point where I really see what they're doing here, and I think it's really good writing, and I think it's super unique. How they're breaking down, like they're not just saying, "Oh, like here's his father that was an angry jerk." They're breaking down the whole family dynamic of why they were dysfunctional, and everyone's kind of owned it up for it. This is like super healthy and not cheesy at all, in the slightest, and it's slowing down the pace.
Yeah, I agree.
Thank goodness.
Yeah,
This is the stuff I want to see. We have years and years for plot to come.
yeah. And
Right.
the best part about it is that it's not done yet. Like this arc is not over here because it all ends when they finally confront Dabi. So it's how they stick the landing at the end of the day, I think. But yeah, I'm excited.
Looking good so far.
Yeah, I'm excited for what's to come. I mean, Horikoshi has always been a very interesting writer when it comes to character. When he like takes his time and slows down and really like takes a microscope to things, he's very good at it. So I'm very excited for what's to come, and maybe we'll get a little bit more shine on some other characters now as well. Maybe we'll get one more chapter on this to like really close out Endeavor and his like maybe a press conference. And I don't know what's going to happen next. That's the best part about all of this is that I'm not sure where this goes in a good way. I don't know if
I think
Midoriya wakes up immediately. I don't know if we're going to focus on another character. I don't know if we're going to do...
Midoriya is already the guy, okay? So he don't need to wake up. Everyone else needs their time to be in the spotlight and get better. So when Midoriya wakes up, he can go back to being number one.
For real.
And unlocking all his abilities.
Yeah. But,
day after day. Minimal training.
Yeah. But that's all I was going to say about My Hero. Any closing thoughts before we move on?
I said all my petty shit already.
I just want to say that, this, I've said it before, and I'll say it again, this Todoroki backstory stuff and everything involving the Todoroki family is really heavy shit, but it feels like something that would happen in real life, And even though it's obviously without the powers part of it or whatever, but man, does this guy, like, he has to walk on eggshells to make sure that he writes this stuff perfectly, because My Hero Academia gets like bad reactions from less,
Oh yeah.
And the way this guy writes these is just so fucking good, and man, I love how he sets this up, and I'm really excited to see where he goes from here regarding Endeavor and Shoto.
Yeah, I feel like he's unaffected by that shit. Like, I think like when you're an artist and you're doing something out there and you're putting your work out in your soul, you gotta do it the best way you can. I mean, of course, be considerate, but it's also like, man, haters gonna hate no matter what. Like there's no such thing as a perfectly received story. So I don't think it affects him all that much. As well, it shouldn't. Good for him. Josh, you're sideways.
Oh man. You guys are sideways. I'm not.
You're sideways.
God, this is fucking chapter, dude.
Right.
I had a thought. I was gonna say something based on what you just said, Chris, but I forgot. It's all right. It was probably gonna be sarcastic.
All right.